Right, hello again. This video was going to be a little bit about entities and then a little bit about, well, and the rest of it about how to clear them and get rid of them, because you're going to come into contact with them while you're using your pendulum, and they're going to interrupt you and stuff because they want to get their messages through. It was going to be about both, but I think rather than making a longer video, I'll do a separate one first about entities and then another one about how to get rid of them, because really the way that I work personally, the latter requires you to understand the former, so I'll probably do them both separate now. So now the trouble here is that a lot of people believe already what they believe. They've been told stuff. Well, beliefs are only what we've been taught. Whereas when I started doing this, I didn't believe in nothing. So that caused me to kind of do reading, do research, find out other people's experiences, and then draw my own conclusions from that. So really, I'm quite free in that regard, I believe, as the case may be. I haven't been going to church and a lot of religious background or anything like that, so I'm not kind of encapsulated in beliefs before I kind of started, if that makes sense. So I'm sorry if some of what I say you probably not going to agree with or not, but what I would suggest is that you kind of just take it on board. Well, as everybody should just take on what I say on board. If you've watched my other videos now, you've got your pendulums and you can ask your own questions. So just let what you currently believe, put a pin in it for 10 minutes or however long this video is, and then you can ask your own questions and come to your own conclusions. I'd much rather you do that than just take everything that I say to gospel. The idea is to kind of get you in that, get some other ideas flowing and see how you get on. So anyway, from what I understand, now we all come from a source. Now that source come from a bigger source. Now the way everything kind of all kicked off with our come to being was, there was a big massive pool of energy, an unbelievable size. If you took the biggest number you could think of in miles and times it by the biggest number you could think of in miles, it'll be bigger than that. Those energies then coalesced into a pattern, kind of like the way computer engineers design chips, and once they get it right they turn them on and then they can think. That was kind of how this original sentience came into being, and this sentience is exactly the same as our sentience. There's no different. It's just that was the original. So all of that energy then became him. Well, became it. There is no such thing as him or her. Him or her is your style of body. We are not him, her. So it, because we haven't got a better description, it then didn't know what it was, so it wanted to learn. At first this is a very slow process. If you're just like us, you're learning on your own, you've got nothing, all you can do is test stuff. So it decided it will make another 12 its in the same way it was created. So what it did was coalesce and divide off some of its energy, arranged it in the same way that it was created, and then that gave birth to another 12 beings of full sentience. It explained to them the score: I'm all of everything, I'm love. Please help me discover what I am. They all went off of this in their own individual ways. One of them made a countless number of copy its being us. So we are the original sentients from the one of the 12. So that's what a sentient entity is. A sentient entity is like a speck of thought. It doesn't have its own energy. We don't have our own energy. The only energy that exists is that belonging to the original it. I'm kind of sick of saying it, but there we go. So that one then said, I am a copy of our Creator. Please help us all learn, grow, discover what we are. Hence we then created this physical universe to explore. So we come here, we forget what we are. We are copies of the original, in the same way as that our Creator was a copy of the original. So we have all this power of creation. We haven't got a blind clue what to do with it, or that it's even there. So all of our rogue thoughts going around wishing hate or love and whatever onto other people, some of it's felt, some of it's not. We create in our own thoughts not sentience, but we create insentience, because we haven't got the knowledge in our current state to create fully sentient entities. Now these are programmed however we programmed them in the first place. Like I said in a previous video, whereas you can create a protector. So you give it its parameters and protect this person, it will go off and protect that person. Same as there are people, misguided people out there that are quite hateful. They can create things through hate to attack people. Now, many of the things that people would say that they're demons are these. They're just created by a thought to spread chaos and mayhem. These are the two differences in entities, really. There is another one which I've touched on as well, which is when a perceived entity that's haunting a place is actually like a copy of actions that have happened. The energy itself's remembered. So really understanding that you've got a sentient entity and non-sentient entity, they are the only classes. Now what they perceive themselves to be, then you go into another ball game. Angels, demons, ghosts, poltergeists, nature entities, all this kind of random weird and wonderful things. They perceive themselves to be that, or they have taken on that persona, like Archangel Michael or Raphael or whatever. Raphael, it's silly to think that a sentient entity, all these people asking for Archangel Michael's help, that he can go to each and individual one all at the same time and do whatever needs to be done. You can divide yourself up into multiple entities, but not that many. It creates a group of protectors in Archangel Michael's case, and they'll take on that persona and come down and help you out and then go back up. Same as Raphael, healer. If you're asking for divine healing or whatever, a healing entity will take on that persona, come down, do it, blah blah blah, go back up. People say they see angels. Yeah, they see angels because a sentient entity has taken on that persona. Come do what's required, do your help, do your soul rescue or whatever it is that they require, and go back up. So yes, people that believe in angels and things like that, they do exist, but only in the way that they are the persona of a separate entity. We're all the same on the inside. Our sentience is all the same as the other creator's sentience, as the other entity's sentience, as the original origin sentience. we are all one the same. We are a copy of God. That's a human term that I don't particularly like to use, but because that would presume that he is something to be worshipped, whereas we kind of idolise it, but as far as it's concerned, you know, love is eternal for all of us, and we're all equal. So yeah, that's basically it. Now I suggest you kind of go do your research and speak to your guides, whatever. See if you can kind of fathom what I've just been speaking about for the past 10 minutes and 40 odd seconds, if I can see that correctly with my poor eyesight. And I'll love you and leave you and go on to make the next video now.